Hey friend, welcome to the Life and Leadership Podcast. I am so glad that you're here. We're building such an empowering and faith-filled community here, and it means so much to me that you've chosen to spend your time with us here today. Now, I'm really excited about this episode because truly, I have been going to Sweden every year for the last 28 years. I've been ministering in Sweden, and you may not know this about me because I'm a little bit older, but I am an ABBA fan. So when I got my first invitation to Stockholm, I was on that plane because I love ABBA. Now, I need you to know, I'm joined by my friend Lina Nielsen today, who's the lead pastor of Hillsong Sweden, and she's my co-conspirator with Empower 21. She leads our whole Scandinavian Women's Alliance over there for E21, and we have been friends for decades. She and her husband Andreas are leading a multi-campus church in one of the most secular nations in the world. And I've got to tell you, I've seen this church from the day it was birthed. They're doing it with boldness and grace and vision. Lina is passionate about raising up a generation of Jesus followers and championing young women to step fully into their God-given calling. So you thought Sweden was just famous for ABBA and for Volvos, but I've got to tell you, you are going to find out that there are amazing women of God leading in that nation. I know you're going to be encouraged by her story. So let's dive in today. Okay, my Swedish friend, I am so pumped that you're on the Life and Leadership Podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my honor.
It is like I'm thinking, because you and I, it has to be at least 20-something years, because I'm thinking I met your husband, Andreas, I think in 1998 or 99, which is 25, 26 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you fully pregnant with your firstborn, at least.
Yeah, and Catherine's 23. So yeah, I was definitely. So there you go. So it's at least 24 years. And I told everyone that I love Sweden. And it's true. I did 5 New Years in Sweden. So that has to prove to the world that I love it, because it's cold in Sweden, isn't it, in the New Year?
It's freezing. It's freezing and it's pitch black.
Exactly.
The sun doesn't go up.
So everyone that goes to Sweden and Stockholm, beautiful summer, restaurants, cafes, the water. And I go to everyone, no, you know, I'm not joking that I really love Sweden because the sun, what time does the sun go down in the winter?
Well, in the winter, maybe 3.
Yeah. So it's
and
black.
It goes up at like 9, 10 something. So it's just a few hours.
That's what I mean. It's like 5 hours. So I go, I have sown seeds of prayer genuinely into your nation, and then have come every year for like a quarter of a century. And I feel, I told everyone listening to this that, you know, I have so many people on here and everyone I know, but you guys I know at a whole nother level, because Andreas was single. I remember when he was taking you out on a date. In fact, my husband and I drove, waited in the car while he brought lunch to you. I mean, I'm the guest speaker. He's supposed to be looking after me. We drove him to you while you're at work so he could bring you lunch. It was so funny.
Yeah, wow. Well,
do you remember all those days?
Concept. Yes, of course. Yes.
It was.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, I know. I remember. I couldn't believe that someone as godly as you would be interested in Andreas. I'm like, oh Lord, marry her tomorrow because you are not going to do any better. Yeah. And then, you know, watched you guys plant the church, do of course all the youth conference, all the music stuff, and then have 2 beautiful, beautiful girls, and here we are still doing it. So here I am saying, so I've known you for almost a quarter of a century. What has kept you passionate and continuing to serve Jesus? Because you guys are full on and still growing and still raising up leaders. What has made you do it and continue to do it in 25 years?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. I think, like, I grew up in a Christian family, so I remember literally receiving Jesus, telling my dad I wanted to invite Jesus into my heart when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
I have a vivid memory of that. And so I think my relationship with Jesus has always been, important. And that's the first thing, like in everything, just to live life with him and to walk with him. And then I never thought that I would be a pastor. Like I am a pastor now. I've been pastoring for 18, 19 years. I
Yes.
never thought that. That's not my, I'm still surprised. That's what I'm doing. But I just think that I just want to follow Jesus, and I built church.
Yeah,
I think church is the best kept secret on the planet because
totally.
it's the hope of the world, and it's the plan of God's plan, brilliant plan for this earth. So I think seriously, just keeping close to Jesus, and I don't know, you weren't asking for this, but have the right people in my life who do the same.
Yeah.
So you are a big inspiration, Chris. You know this.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
when you came the first time, you were fully pregnant, and then the second time you were traveling with a baby, and you showed me that you can still do that. Like in every season, you can still continue to do what God has called you to do.
Yeah,
So
which I've watched you guys do it with the church and raising the girls. And for a lot of women, often they sort of think, well, in fact, I remember at the time my pastor said to me, Nick and I had gotten engaged, and I was going to take over Youth Alive in Australia. And he said to me, well, what are you going to do when you get married? You'll have to stop doing this when you have children. Like it was like that was the normal thinking in the 1990s. Like, of course you will stop. And I just remember I had not read any books about anything, but I knew that Jesus had called me. And I remember just looking with this blank face. I never thought it through, never realized what it would mean, but I just went, well, Jesus called me. He knew I was going to get married. He knew I was going to have babies.
yeah,
And I didn't know how it was going to work out. But but then I realized, because I'm older than you, obviously, and that I was going to have to invent what this looked like, because there wasn't, in my era, a whole bunch of women doing it. So I'm grateful for your generation, because there's a few more of you that have done it and continue to do it.
yeah, now. But when like I said, I never thought that I would be a pastor because the only pastors I saw, they had, blazers, they smelled for a men's perfume, they said, "Thank you, Jesus," in a deep voice. Like it never occurred to me because I didn't see it modeled, even when I was young.
Well,
So
totally. And
just being
especially in your
grateful for
part of
the
the world, I'm
examples.
thinking it's so interesting because Sweden is so progressive. And then you go to back then, I'm thinking when I first started coming in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I would walk into the churches at the time. Your church didn't exist. I thought I was in a time warp. It's like I went back, 100 years for women, and yet in society in
Yeah.
Sweden, women were empowered in levels of government, in entrepreneurs, in every sector of society, and it kind of felt like church was stuck in the dark ages.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's so weird. But I'm really happy for my daughter. So we have two daughters, teenage
Yes,
daughters now. And for them, it looks very different to
definitely.
what it did when like 20 years ago. For them, there are a lot of role models, for them, there's no question
Yeah.
that they can do whatever God has called them to do. So I'm really
Totally.
happy about that.
Well, that's because you and Andreas and a whole lot of other pastors, though, have created that kind of environment. What made you think, okay, we're going to do something different? Because you grew up, your family, your parents are unbelievable and so godly and so the real deal. So you, thank God, at home had a great example of,
Yeah.
very genuine, authentic Jesus followers, both on the platform and off the platform, on the mission field, using their incredible gifts and talents for the glory of God all over the world. So, over the last decade, you've certainly seen great upheavals in the church all around the world, even in your own country. What kept you stable when a lot of things around you seem to be falling apart?
Yeah, wow. I think, yeah. So I'm 44 years old
Yeah.
this year. So I've seen a few Christian leaders and pastors and role models, like I don't want to say know if I want to say
Yeah. Yeah.
derail,
No.
but whatever, make
Yeah.
bad choices and stuff.
Yes.
So I think um, the first time I counted that was I was like 20 something, and
Right.
for me the first time it was like a shock
Yeah.
that someone who'd known Jesus for that long can have less wisdom, could have less wisdom than me. That's what I thought.
Right.
Like when I was a young Christian. But I think, I feel like it's just a simple answer, but my eyes should not be on them.
Yeah.
My eyes should be on Jesus and my walk with Him. And obviously, it hurts when people close to you make other choices
Yes.
or walk left or right. But ultimately, my walk is with Jesus, and I need to be what's the English word? I need to be faithful with whatever He's called
Amen.
me to do.
Yes,
So it's I don't say that it's been easy, because it's not it's not
for
easy
sure.
for anyone. But just to keep my eyes on the goal, like on the what God has called me to do, and to walk with Him.
It is.
Is that too
No,
simple?
it's
Like
not
such
too
a simple.
simple because I agree. I'm 59 and, have walked a lot of years, nearly 4 decades with the Lord. So in 4 decades, all over the world, I have seen, people I have loved and admired and learned from and been taught by and just make different choices, down the track or just do things that
Yeah.
you go, I really can't believe, that happened. And
No.
for all of us, we love building the church. So of course we don't want to tarnish the name of Jesus, and we want, people to know that there's hope in Jesus and that the church is awesome. But I don't think there is any other answer, to be honest. You have to fix your eyes on Jesus. For
Yeah.
me, that's how I'm still here today, still full of the joy of the Lord, still full of the
Yeah.
peace of God, still passionate about building the house of God, because
Yes.
you can have a million other conversations, but it still comes down to Jesus has never failed me. Jesus has never let me down. Jesus has always been there
Absolutely.
for me. And
Exactly.
I think that's it. That's what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
that's it, and that's what we preach, so I guess
Yeah.
that's what we should believe.
Yeah.
But also here in Sweden, like, there's no career in building church or ministry. Like, you can't make money of it. It's not easy. It's pretty much under the radar. Like,
Yeah.
we live in a society where, it's a very secular society, so it's nothing you choose if you're not called to it, because it's not comfortable, but it's the
Yes.
best thing, just to
See,
feel like
it's
you're.
real Christianity. I've been having lots of conversations in this series because this is what I want so many of my viewers and listeners to understand, that in most of the world, you cannot make a career out of Christianity. In some countries, you can die for being a
Yep.
Christian. In countries like yours, like, we're living in America now, and it's like people are like, oh my gosh, secularism is increasing. I'm going, welcome to the rest of the world. Like, you have only known a country that is, people go, this is post-Christian, this is postmodern. I thought Sweden has been post everything as
Yeah.
long as I've known you. It's like
Yeah.
post, when we talk about secularization, it's another planet. And so you've had to navigate. Uh, there is no Christian subculture, and you cannot
No.
become popular by being a Christian. There's no Christian conference circuit or Christian book circuit. So when you write, I was looking at your books, it's like no one's giving you this great contract to then go on tour. You are serving the body of Christ, going, okay, if I can offer something that's going to help you to grow,
Yeah.
because there's no mass market, because most people
No.
are not Christians. And
No,
I
they're not.
understand this. Yeah, it's like
But the
it's like the
goal is
book of
that there
Acts.
will be the
Yes.
goal is to reach them.
That's it. It's to reach lost people, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing, and I love that, and that's why I want. Part of why I even started the Life and Leadership podcast is like, here I am traveling all these decades all around the world, and I know all these amazing women leaders like you guys that are basically doing the book of Acts, planting churches, raising up leaders, releasing people into ministry, training and equipping people in every sphere of life. And I want people to know, oh, you might not know their name, but there's women all over the world that are actually doing this. And
Mhm.
I want women to understand that this is actually our primary calling. Like Jesus said, you'll receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses to the
Yeah.
uttermost parts of the earth. So not you'll build a Christian career or you'll be a social media influencer, but you will be my witnesses. And I think definitely I asked you to be on here because I've known you for a quarter of a century, and that's really what you do. And I'm interested, like, what keys maybe you could give some people, because leading, and you guys are a very, public church, a very well-known church, but in a very secular culture that, in terms of so many of the things that are big issues over here now have been just part of the landscape of Sweden for years, whether it's gender identity, sexuality, a whole lot of things. I mean,
Yeah.
your country has been at the forefront of a lot
Yeah.
of those very progressive ideas. How have you navigated some of that and yet still stayed true to your convictions, but loved lost people? Hey friends, can I share something with you? Some of the most transformational moments in my life have happened when the right people have surrounded me. Women who challenge me, encourage me, and help me see what God was doing in my life that I couldn't see on my own. So maybe you're feeling stuck in your calling, or you know God has more for you, but you're not sure how to step into it. You don't have to figure it out alone. That's exactly why we created the Propel Women cohorts. 5 months of coaching, teaching, and community designed to help you step confidently into everything that God has called you to be. You'll get personalized coaching, biblical teaching that applies to real life, and a sisterhood of women who truly understand your journey. We're talking about clarity in your calling, confidence in your identity in Christ, and practical tools to create lasting impact in your sphere of influence. So applications are open right now for our cohorts, but spaces are limited. Don't let another season pass wondering, what if? God has a specific purpose for you, and this could be exactly what you need to step into. So if you click the link in the description to learn more and apply today, I cannot wait to journey with you and watch God do incredible things in and through your life. So let's step forward into the future together.
I think since we're building a church in a very secular country,
Yes.
and where people some have been to church and they didn't like it, that's why they didn't come back. But they have never been to church.
Wow.
So they don't know. We're trying to be very mindful of the language, the culture, so that they don't step into. That's actually why we started church, to build a church for our neighbors and our friends who don't feel like they fit into the church culture. Because we have this language and we have this culture amongst ourselves that they don't understand. So just for me personally, I just really need to have non-Christian people in my life. That's how basic it gets, because if I can talk to them and if I can share the gospel with them, like just being Lina, the neighbor, I know how to speak on the platform and how to be relevant for the people, everyone that comes to church. And I think that's been a big thing, just to be. Of course, we believe the Bible. Like that's what transforms.
Yes.
Jesus transforms. We believe everything, but you can just talk and speak a language that they understand. And I think that's and for me personally, like the same thing as I need personally to walk with Jesus every day.
Yes.
I also need to walk with non-Christian people in my life, because that keeps me relevant and that helps me to know what kind of church people need. Of course, it's not easy, but I don't know. It's obviously like we live in a very secular country, but also it's like people have what they need, kind of. When it comes to clothing and all that, medical care and all that, pretty much. But people are not well. Like they're not mentally well. Even if we have it so good, we're not good.
Yeah.
So obviously we need to offer them that. We need to offer them the peace that the peace that Jesus offers.
Yeah.
And
I love what you're saying. That's not a small thing, because people would look at it from the outside and go, that's right. In terms of, it's not, most people are not just trying to survive. Like in many other countries of the world, they don't even have enough food or water or housing, sort of that. So you're beyond that, in that we have most of those things. But it's interesting to me, Lina, and I don't know, you could tell me from within Sweden, over here anyway, and maybe some of the news feeds that I'm reading, Sweden is in the news more and more. It seems like there's some people are becoming dissatisfied and they're looking for meaning and purpose. I've seen so many secular interviews in these last few months. And of course, because I love Sweden, it always catches my attention. I'm thinking, it seems more and more people, not people that know Jesus, just people in the streets, are somehow searching for something and more meaning, and they're dissatisfied. Like, are you feeling that in the country?
100%. So Jesus was voted the number one influencer, actually, 2025
Really?
amongst young people. And
Wow.
so it's really interesting to see the younger generation coming up. I think it's the same in other parts of the world as well, but they don't like, when they look at their parents' life, they don't like what they see, because they see that they're not happy. They have everything. They've got their careers, their nice houses, their everything, but still they're not happy. So we see it a lot, like a lot of young people, and also a lot of young people from the suburbs. Some social workers have been calling us asking, is this
Wow.
really true? These guys who
Yes.
used to be in gangs, they say that they go to church now. Is this true? And then they would say the names, and it's actually they're amazing boys. Like they're
Wow.
such nice guys in church now. So I think, to be honest, I think being in a secular environment sometimes helps us, because
Wow.
that helps us to remember, because we are different. But
Yes.
like compared to if you're in a culture that's Christian but maybe not living that way. So I think seriously, it's so evident that our nation, they need Jesus, because loneliness is a big thing. People are so lonely in Sweden.
Wow.
And mental illness, and like you said, the different challenges of identity and what gender am I. It's been very much at the forefront, and now it's backing because they realized you
We
don't get
pushed it too far.
Yes, yeah. So I can't remember what you asked,
No,
but
it doesn't matter, because I love all this, because I think, so many of the conversations that people maybe over here are at the beginning of, to me, I'm like, oh, I saw this thing a quarter of a century ago, and now we've had all of this time to see how it's played out. And we're in this place where I'm watching news of people all over Sweden, sort of, you could tell they're looking for significance and security and
yep.
meaning and value. And I thought about this because you've been helping to serve women, champion women, empower women for decades, through what you guys are doing through sisterhood and the church. And
Mm.
it's interesting to me because when you first started, I thought, wow, Swedish women are so empowered. They're sort of so far ahead in so many ways. And again, I'm talking in the secular realm. And yet I see such a hunger for meaning and identity in women all over. So I'm interested to,
Yeah.
from your perspective, because you've been serving women for so long and you work with me at Empowered 21 for women in that region of the world. Do you find that even though there may be more legal rights than maybe for women in other parts of the world, there's still a place to minister to women?
Yeah. Actually, I've been asking that question to myself, because,
Yeah,
like you say, there's no question if a woman can lead in the
totally.
marketplace and all that. But still, I would say yes, it's a really big need, because even if we know that women here, they know they're capable,
Yeah.
they have
Yes.
rights, like, they know their rights,
Yeah.
but still a lot are really broken on the inside. So there's a lot of, like, mental health issues
Right.
is a big thing. Anxiety is a big thing. So, and identity, comparison, all that. So like
Yes.
it can look really good on the outside, but I think the foundational things, like who am I,
Yeah.
and who, what determines, like, the thought of am I good enough? Even if they are, it's still this
Of course. Yeah.
battle on the inside. So, and also it's very, like, the competition between women, like,
Yeah.
it's a thing,
Yes.
comparison and competition, just to get, a step ahead in career and stuff. So, it is really needed. And now, and I'm a teenage mom, like, for two girls.
Yeah.
It's really good for me. Like, it's good to walk with them, and they have their challenges too. And it's the same. I feel like it's the same challenges that I walked through when I was young. Some challenges stay the same.
Yes,
The challenges
definitely.
about identity, about purpose, about who am I, like, who am I if I don't perform, like,
Yeah.
all those things. Where do I fit in?
Totally.
Foundational questions that, needs to get some
I think
answers.
that's why when I say Christianity, the Bible, Jesus, the church,
Yeah.
it's never going to go out of fashion because they
No.
are the big questions for everyone. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the status in the world, every title, every achievement, but you still have to go to bed at night and think, who am I? What am I here for?
Yeah.
Is there more? And I think that's
Yeah.
why I love the church that you're building. Of course, I love Stockholm. It's one of my, I wanted to move there because it's just such
Um,
a beautiful city. And because I'm old and I walked on the earth when the dinosaurs were here, I grew up with ABBA. I'm sorry. I was definitely, I
Yeah,
said to my team, I am putting that in the podcast.
dancing
Is
queen.
Sweden still known for ABBA?
I think more outside of Sweden than in Sweden. We don't care that much. But of
Okay.
course, we're
Everybody, she's laughing at me. That's what that really is. What else are you guys famous for? Volvos?
yeah, but then we sold that. Spotify?
Is that you?
Yes, that's us.
Wow.
Um,
I do
what
have to
else?
say, musically, you guys are, and
Yeah,
you're
a
songwriters,
lot of
and you.
songwriters.
I know.
Yes.
I used to come over, and I have to say, there is a little bit of Swedish pride, especially Lina's husband. They're both musicians, and they would sort of just smile, not in that nice Swedish way, when I would talk about the rest of the world, because you've got like the leading songwriters in the world, and
Yeah,
yes,
that's good. Yes.
which is so. What do you see? What's your hope in terms of the next generation and particularly young women, but just generally, you're now in your mid 40s, so that gives you a different perspective. You know,
Yeah.
you were a youth, you grew up, you're now a mother, and spiritually, as yeah, obviously as well as biologically. But as you look into the future, and even after, some of the difficult times you guys have gone through over the last 5 years, are you looking forward with excitement, with anticipation? I mean, the world's crazy. Some things in the church world have gone crazy. How are you looking at the
Yeah.
future?
With hope. No, yeah. I just love living in the time that we're in, actually.
Yeah.
And I love that this generation is looking for authenticity.
Yeah.
And I'm really challenging myself to be authentic. Of course, I want to be it, but to be as honest and vulnerable as possible, to share what I'm going through, different challenges, but at the same time to, offer faith and hope and all that. And I just love how, people now, they want to be real, at
Yeah,
least here in
totally.
Sweden. They want the real deal. So they want, they want to know, like, we want to talk about how life actually is, but also how they can get help. And I just love that there's such a
Beautiful.
hunger for that, and that people are actually so open to faith. And we just see it. I just talked to this guy, this young 15-year-old guy in church this past Sunday, and it was just so good because he came to one of our summer camps. His sister got baptized, and then his brother got baptized, and then they baptized him.
Wow.
And then he just told me, I just talked to him a little bit, and he was like, I just realized we're here to be light. And for me, like that, I've heard that for quite some time, and it's not news for me, but it was just so good for me to hear him and to see his eyes, when he was just, he just understood his purpose in life.
Beautiful.
15-year-old boy, we're here to be light. And I'm like, yes, we are. So just that rawness. I just love the younger generation just growing up and realizing who they are, who they're called to be, being
love that.
secure, and then just going for it. Like there's the boldness.
Oh, for sure. I'm wondering, because you have a really well-educated society as well, and so very rational thinking people and logical. So, which Scandinavians, I think in general, my interaction with them would reflect that. How are you finding people? Are they open to the supernatural, that side of God, the power of God, or do people think you're just crazy? Because sometimes when you're very intellectual, you can just think
Yeah.
that there's no power. And in a lot of the world, though, at the same time that there's a rise in the occult and a rise in sort of
Yeah.
spirituality. And I'm like, okay, God's power you'll laugh at, but you'll have a crystal. I mean, I don't know how that is in
Yeah.
Sweden. Is there that? Is there?
Yeah, I think when I grew up, it was a big difference. Is I grew up in Congo and then Sweden. So in Congo, it was very open to spirituality. It was like evident. It was there all the time. And when I grew up, everyone's very close to it. But it's a different scene now. So
Wow.
people are really open. But the thing is that sometimes they don't think that Christianity is spirituality. They think that Christianity is religion, a
Right.
church you go to, you have this liturgy.
Yes.
So it would be crystals. It would be all the different religions. Yeah, people are definitely more open now to it.
So even like sort of in kind of new age practices, they're very
Yeah,
open to
yeah,
just in general society.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
not everyone, but
No,
yeah,
but I mean, just it's
like,
out there. It's not like we
yeah,
don't. But what I'm saying about that is that so it's a good time for the real power of God. Like people
yeah,
are very open to encountering the real power
yeah,
of God as well,
yeah.
which is
It is.
phenomenal. In that, okay, let me wrap up. We're just saying you wrote Secrets of a Sister, Things I Wish I Knew. Why
Yeah.
did you write that book, and what kind of things do you talk about in that? Because I think it's being translated to English.
It's just been translated to English,
Awesome.
yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh gosh, it's a long story. I'll try to keep it short. I'll try to keep it
Okay.
short. So yeah, when I just got when I was 23 something, my husband's sister moved into our house. She was dealing with anxiety, eating disorders,
Yes.
self-harm, things like that. She
Yeah.
was a teenager and I was just 23. And she just needed a change of scenery, so we helped her. And in the same season, I just went to this conference and I walked into the doors, and there on the screen it said "Destined for Greatness," and it just popped out. And in 1 second, I just thought, "Oh, I'm destined for greatness." And then the next second, I thought, I need to tell this to Joe. That was, her name.
Yes.
And then the next second, I thought, there are more that needs to know this. There are more girls who
Wow.
needs to know this. So we kind of started with her, and I started to write it a long time ago when my oldest was a baby, and then I
Wow.
just felt obedient to God and write it. So I wrote about, like, if I would have had a sister, what would I have, what would I have, how do you say it in English? What would I have wanted her to tell me?
Yes.
So like, it was just about identity, like we talked about choices, about friends, about if you're being bullied, about sex,
Wow.
about church, about life choices, everything, that you just navigate when you're a teenager. So I wrote it, I put it aside and just waited for God's timing. And then my own girls became teenagers. So I just felt
Wow.
that I should bring it back up, and then they helped me a little bit, gave me some feedback on it, and yeah, I'm really passionate about it, actually.
Totally.
There's so much potential in so many of the girls, but
Amen.
they just need some help to navigate the teenage years.
For sure. Yeah, that age group is very dear to me too. And I think that I've never, obviously because of the internet and social media, when I was a teenager, it didn't exist. I've never seen a generation lied to so every day,
Oh, yeah,
bombarded and lies. So that's why I'm
yeah.
glad, and we'll make sure we put all of this information in the show notes. And you guys listening to this, and if you know any teenage girls in your life, I really want you to get this. And I also, I'm saying this and laughing because I'm going to leave it in. I love it every time you say, what's that word in English? It's fantastic because I want the people listening to this to know the people that I interview from, Asia or Sweden or just Europe in general, this is their second or third language.
Yes.
And yes, I know. Don't you worry. And it makes me happy. I want to challenge people
Oh,
because the most of sort of my English speakers only speak one language. I mean, and so it just gives me great joy that we have done this whole interview and this is not your first language. And
no,
you were flawless. It was fantastic.
you're being very gracious.
It's true. It makes me so happy. All right, my friend. Well, I'm actually going to see you just in a couple of weeks in Helsinki, and then I'm
So
coming to
looking forward
church.
to it.
So I'll be able to testify that everything that she said about church is true because I'll be there in a couple of Sundays.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. I can't wait. All right. I love you, my friend. Thanks for being with me today.
I love you. Thank you.
Now, I could talk to Lina all day long, and I know that was just such a powerful and faith-filled conversation. So if you want to keep up with her and all that's happening at Hillsong Sweden, her information is linked in the show notes, so please be sure to check it out. And I just want to thank you so much for spending this time with us. I know that your time is valuable, and I am so grateful that you're a part of this community. If this episode has encouraged you, would you just hit that follow or subscribe button, leave a quick review, and share it with someone who needs a boost of faith today? I'll see you right back here next week on the Life and Leadership Podcast.
Access more